What do this, and this listing have in common? Well, I'll tell you the answer. The answer is that all three are gonna get very good click-through rates. And you know why? Because they have implemented Schema Markup. So Schema Markup is a type of a code which tells the search engine more about the content you've published. A Schema Markup can be added to an article or a page. And what it does is it tells search engines such as Google, Yahoo, and Bing the highlights of this content. Just like each software has a particular line of code which the computers can understand, similarly, a Schema Markup puts emphasis on stuff for search engines to understand. Now, let's look at one example here. So as an example, I'll search for buy Godox lights. As you can see, the first listing has these links, which is continuous light, flash, accessories and stuff. Whereas the other SERP results don't have anything like that. So these are highlighted for this particular search result, primarily because this was added to the Schema Markup. I'll give you another example of this. Let me search for paneer makhni recipe. So like you can see, this is what the result looks like. Of course, Google is promoting videos here. But if you scroll down, you see a recipes tab with 3 different recipe over here listed, 3 individual sites. And here's what's different. In the first one, you see a big image, you see the recipe, you also see a star rating. This one is 5-star rated. It also shows the preparation time. As you can see, this is different for different websites. And what this does is it influences my click. So I'm more likely to click on one of these than one of these traditional links. Of course, the one with the images are slightly more likely, but of course, the one on the top about recipes definitely is going to get a lot more clicks. If how many clicks you ask, I would say 30% more than any other link that comes up on the SERP page. Now, what exactly is a Schema Markup? I'll show that with an example. So how exactly does Schema Markup look like? Well, let's just go ahead, click one of these links, and I'll show you what it's all about. So we've gone to this website, which has all the details about the recipe we searched about. And to search that, I'd simply have to view page source. So once we are on this website, I'll go ahead and show you the source code. So I've clicked on the second link here. Let's go and look at the source code. As you can see, this is the page source, and I'll quickly search for schema. And as you can see, here it has the schema for this particular site. Now what a schema does is it tells the search engine points to highlight in a particular page. That way, the search engine will be able to identify keywords and important elements easily. So in this example of paneer makhni, as you can see, in the schema itself, the title is paneer makhni, which was our keyword. It also has an image added here in the schema itself. So this is the image that we saw in the SERP page. If I slowly scroll down, it also has a schema for the date it was modified and published. It has an author schema attached to it here as well, which basically tells who the author is, because remember EEAT, you need authoritativeness. So the author, who's probably a very good cook, the name really adds some weight here. So adding that or showing it upfront on a SERP page adds a lot of value there, and it also drives a lot of clicks. As you can see, it also has a schema for rating. So the 4.2 star rating that we'd seen in the SERP page, that's where it's coming from. It's coming from the schema itself. So I think I've made my point very, very clear. A schema makes a huge difference on the SERP page because it gathers key elements within an article or a page and highlights it right on the search page. And given that a lot of organic traffic primarily comes from search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing, it becomes essential for search engines to get this information because it helps them map it to the right keywords better and also have a better search result. Like this is called a knowledge graph, which improves the overall experience on the search page itself and also drives a lot of clicks for publishers. So now that I've shown you what a schema looks like, I think a question that would have popped in your head is, how do I go about doing it? So for adding a schema to the page, you can go to schema.org. So schema.org has a lot of schema options available. So you can jump directly to the schema that is popular or commonly used. Say for example, if you have a product review, you can go with a review schema. An organization schema if you have a company page. So an organization schema there would be crucial. If you are a local business, there's a local business schema. And for publishers, there's the news article schema as well. So what this schema does is it highlights key elements. So stuff such as the date, because if it's a breaking news, the date is very, very important for search engines to determine relevance. Other include print column, if there's an edition, print page, a section for if you have in your article itself, the article section, article body. There are multiple options that are there. You can add these schemas based on the article you've written. If there's a word count that you would want to add there. Sometimes when you also search for a news article or a particular news, you also get a time that will take to read, like 10-minute read. So stuff like that can also be added by a schema. So these are multiple options that are available in the news article schema itself. Now, you need not add everything in one schema. You can add multiple schemas in a page, but I would recommend you to not overdo it. But passing on a lot of information via schemas to the search engine will also be a bit too much, because it would lose importance on which key factors need to be highlighted. Because if you were to add 10 different elements for the search engine to highlight, it might not highlight the element that you would want to rank. If I go back to our recipe search, as you can see, the star rating, the preparation time, and the key ingredients are highlighted. If they were to add other stuff like alternate recipes, alternate ways of cooking it, cooking method, it would probably be a lot more cluttered, or Google might not show the right elements that would impact someone's decision to click on this particular link or not. So it's a good idea to only highlight key schema elements in your article schema, but you can add multiple ones if you may. So now that we have schemas covered and you have a clear idea of what schemas are, let's try to understand what are the key benefits of implementing schema for your website. Now, the biggest difference or the benefit is a rich search page result. Like I've shown in the examples before, your page is listed out better, it's visually more appealing, and it's likely to get a lot of CTRs as well. Search engines understand your page better. So if someone is searching only for, say, paneer makhani, it would know that they are probably looking to order. The intent is pretty much clear versus paneer makhani recipe, for example. So in the latter, the page with the recipe and the schema for a recipe would highlight better and will drive more clicks there as well. Ultimately, the last point would be increased visibility on SERP pages. Now, as you know, on Google, it's all about 10 links, right? So if you are among the top 3, the chances of you getting a click is higher. But if you manage to get into the knowledge graph, like we've seen in the examples we've used, you get a bigger chunk on the SERP page itself, which means that you're grabbing more eyeballs there, and you're definitely going to get a lot of clicks and traffic through organic search. So that is all about schema markup. Now, if you would want to know how to implement a schema markup on your website, you can drop in a comment. I'm going to teach you that in the next one.